it down, chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Down, set, watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another Trap or Die podcast, post-game edition. I am Marley. Let me make sure I get these. There we go. Get the names up. Dakota, relax, man. I am Marley Mual, Coach Mual, Hen Dog Mual, all that good stuff, man. AJ is checking in right now. Dre is on the way in a second. We are open to calls. If you are listening on the YouTube side or watching on the YouTube side live right now, we appreciate you checking in off the rip. I seen the people in the comments early before we even got started, before the game was even over, man. Appreciate y'all waiting to join the conversation today. If you want to join the show, the link is in the description on the YouTube side. If you're watching on Twitter or Twitch, and I think that's it. Yeah, if you're watching on Twitter or Twitch and you want to be a part of the show, you can definitely tap in on your platform. But if you want to call in and things like that, you got to migrate over to the YouTube side. Like, subscribe, rate, review on the audio side, all that stuff. Boom, all that's done. Now, Washington, they fucked around and found a way to lose in Seattle. After what was like a really important and really crucial drive that was loaded with a series of coaching mismanagement or clock mismanagement from the Commanders. They found a way to tie it up late, 26-26 in Seattle, man. A very clutch drive, and really something that Howell overcame despite the fact that you had a couple of blunders from the coaches. I think Antonio Gibson himself had issues simply just getting out of bounds. Like just some issues with that side. So with all that being said, Washington loses. AJ, I'm checking in right now. You here?
Yeah, I'm here. I had the audio was muted for some reason.
Nah, you good. So AJ's checking in. From a macro level, let's go ahead and just start the conversation about the game. What are your thoughts on how everything went down at CenturyLink? I think that's the right name of the stadium.
I think it might be Lumen, but I'm not
quite sure. In Seattle.
Either way, I mean, I feel like the offense was stagnant for most of the day, outside of the two plays of Sam Howell being creative outside of the pocket and eluding the pressure. The offense really didn't get to do much. As we seen, Seattle was very aggressive with their approach and how they were going to play the offense and Sam Howell. In the first drive that Washington had the ball, out of the three plays, two of those plays, Seattle sent a safety or corner blitz. So that kind of set the tone for the day, that they were going to play fast and going to play with a lot of DBs instead of putting their linebackers in position to have to cover the middle of the field. They were going to go with 5 DBs or whatever the case was. Defensively, I mean, yeah, still no pass rush. Linebackers still getting exposed, and just even your safeties as far as crossers, cornerback play. Ben St. Juste had some struggles today, in my belief, not trusting his technique, and especially that last drive before the game-winning field goal attempt. They definitely, were able to capitalize on some mistakes that he was making, whether it be the face mask, that
one drive he had three total penalties on the defense, 2 of them on Ben that led to the drive, the touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown.
Yeah, the PI and all that, and I really just think that comes down to technique. Jack Del Rio, I feel like second half he adjusted, but he just was very predictable in his adjustment. You kind of knew third down that he was blitzing, and I felt like that last particular drive that they got to DK Metcalf, that was a perfect opportunity to bluff a blitz and drop somebody in coverage as far as linebacker wise, and it would have been a pick. Instead, they played zone, and DK was wide open. Even from a football IQ standpoint, it's like y'all don't understand the circumstance at hand. Keep that man up. Like, if he want to stand up and keep running, let him keep running. Milk down as much clock as possible so that they have to scramble to get downfield to spike the ball. But
So
either
pause
way,
right there. Like that was a weird situation. Like in my head, I mean, what happened, right? But in my head, I was like, the longer they stay up, it gives the whole offense time to even like march down the field. Like if they're smart enough, they're gonna run with DK. So like whenever he does go down, they're at the line of scrimmage. So like it was like I didn't know like if there was a right or wrong situation there. Given
well, I
that.
mean, if you have a guy in that
So no, by the way,
situation,
I'm not criticizing. I'm
oh
actually
yeah,
literally saying I don't know if there was a right or wrong because I was like I feel like the way Seattle played it, they was on DK's ass the minute he failed. That's what I was saying. So
yeah.
like
I
in that
mean,
minute.
but I think if DK just goes down, it's over with. You feel me? Like they have
Yeah,
more than
too.
enough time. They still had enough time to spike the ball with him being up. But I'm saying if Washington had like laid on the ball or let him run a little bit more, stayed on the ball, you never know what can happen in that situation, even though the linemen are probably running upfield, to get in the spike position. But either way, it was just it was just another game of where you're still not going to see a complete game from this team, offensively and defensively, and then even time management wise at the end, you've seen exactly Ron Rivera's issues that he's been having his entire coaching career with being able to manage the game, clock management, and you could tell like these things aren't really being emphasized on his end, and he's doing the work on his side to make sure in these circumstances he can have these things down pat. It's kind of like just on the fly. But either way, man, there were some plays that were made. Like I said, Brian Robinson had a big game. The most
I think that was
receptions,
the biggest game of his career.
yeah,
Like
the most
most impactful, I should say.
Yeah, the most receptions that he's had, also most receiving yards. Diami Brown came up with a touchdown, which was extremely surprising. Uh, but at the end of the day, they still ended up taking the loss. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, the offense didn't look great today. The
All right,
defense didn't look great either. But that's kind of where things have been going with this team all season long.
Dre's just checking in for those listening on the audio side. Video wise, you all saw him pop in, but Dre, overall takeaways on today's game before we kind of get down to the nitty gritty parts of it.
Honestly, two takeaways for me. First takeaway is not mad at the loss. I'm ready for Ron Rivera and his era to be out of here. And as we know it, I'm a draft fan at this point. So I mean, I've been a draft fan for the last couple of weeks. So these losses don't really hurt. Second takeaway, I gotta say, I've been asking for Sam Howell to show me some consistency. He's starting to make a believer of me, man. I'm sorry. Hey, AJ, I know AJ don't like to hear that, man. But Sam Howell been balling, man. All I asked to do was to see it for a string of games, and we're seeing it, man. I mean, he makes the throws. I mean, he's made the flash plays. We've seen the flashes early in the season, but we weren't seeing like complete performances. We were seeing, some ups and downs, especially throughout games. Then, he played a couple of good games against the Eagles, but now Sam is on a roll, and he seems like he's getting it, and he's not making the same mistakes. Actually, we're starting to see what was it before the season? They said Sam is self-correctable. We're starting to see that now.
Yeah. For me, man, I think AJ said a lot, and Dre, you touched on a new angle. So Sam and himself, right? Like when you're watching, let me actually even start before I even get into Sam. You mentioned it, like even for me, I know there's other people out there. We know about Magic in the chat. Shout out to you, Magic. There's 1,000 people who care about this regular season and what that means from like a win-loss standpoint, right? For me, like I don't know how people are going to take this, but like a win or a loss doesn't really affect me. It's looking at the quarterback at this point, right? Because I know, like, we should all know what is likely going to happen to Ron at the end of the season. But it's also about how can you win games with how is he affecting or impacting a game, like from a win-loss standpoint? How is he contributing to it? And I think today, this was one of those games where, from an offense side standpoint, it was like a real battle where you're trying to navigate how to overcome a team where AJ spoke on, which was true. Like, how do you overcome a team who is aggressive? They're sending delayed blitzes from the secondary. They are like, they're in your receiver's kitchen from start to finish throughout the entire game. And now we got to, and on top of that, our screen game is looking very awkward. We have to find a way to make this offense work. And for Washington, up until the second half total, like I would say up until like the fourth quarter, really, your offense was 2 Brian Robinson plays, a 51-yarder that went for a touchdown, and then like a 49-yarder in the third quarter. And like, that was kind of the struggle, just trying to figure out how to establish something, right? Obviously, they had before the 51-yard, the 40-something yard run from catch and run from B-Rob, you had a 10-play drive that amounted to a field goal. But outside of that, you had a lot of 3-play drives that ended in a punt. So like, the true battle in terms of the offensive side of the football for me was really trying to see how Sam Howell navigated an aggressive defense like Seattle, but also seeing how Bieniemy is helping him out and how he's adjusting. And I think it took them some time early on. Like, the offensive line was getting whooped a couple times quite a few times with some stunts and just some one-on-ones in the interior, right? But at the same time, you start seeing ways that Brian Robinson again is featured in the past game. You start seeing the isolated one-on-ones with some like your tight end. And then obviously Terry McLaurin is starting to win his one-on-ones in that second half. Sam Howell is making the right reads. He was making a good amount of right reads throughout the day. There was some there was some fingers crossed ones where, pressure impacted the way he threw a pass in a literal sense. And obviously, he had a drive where you're actually in plus territory and he fumbles. So like, you're biting yourself offensively. I'm gonna get to the defense side of football, but when it comes to how and just seeing how this offense is moving in an environment like this, like, that was kind of my most interesting storyline of the day. And I think for all of the battling that they did throughout the first 3 quarters of trying to figure this thing out and get things together, it really came together for them in the fourth quarter, where you're talking about, I think it was like a 14 for Washington. It was like a 14-point fourth quarter, 17 points total, right, in the fourth quarter, including the game-winning or game-tying drive for Washington, where Sam Howell really came to life, where Dre mentioned, like, he started making a believer out of him. I'm like, that game, and then on the road in Philly, where you have the game-tying drive, like, in those instances where you see clutch moments with, like, very gutsy but also accurate throws in crunch time, like, those are all encouraging signs that you want to see in a young quarterback. Like, how do you handle an environment such as a Philadelphia, such as a Seattle, right? Like, those are just as important as what you do on a down-to-down basis, like critical moments. What is it called? Mental toughness. Like, those type of things is what you want to see in a young quarterback, and something that you can build off of. And then you look at the coaching. I don't know. We kind of saw this before, where the conversation about why didn't you go for 2? And it started dawning on me after the first DK Metcalf catch on the last drive where they kicked the go-ahead field goal, the game-winning field goal. I'm like, if you think about it, bruh, if they went for 2, you either win or lose the game right then and there. I mean, excuse me, let me rewind that. You have a good chance of losing the game on that given play. But also, like, if you kick the field goal and you make it, at least if they're driving and they kick a field goal to try and win it, you already have the lead. So it's no overtime. They just miss it and you win. In theory, like, if the goal was to be in those moments where you can kick a field goal and really try and win the game in that moment, I feel like Ron probably had a missed opportunity there, just as similar as the missed opportunity he had in Philly.
I mean, how can I expect a coach that doesn't manage the clock properly in game-ending situations to possibly think about going for a 2-point conversion there? Like,
well,
let's even be honest. That first,
well, I don't have expectations of him. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
But even look at the way, like, the game came down to an end, right? The first time out that he used was either on like a 3rd or a 4th down.
And the clock wasn't even moving.
It's like if you don't convert on that play, now you don't have all your timeouts to possibly put your team in position to get the ball back from Seattle to drive downfield. So it's just like I don't even think about his nickname, Titanic Boat, Ron, whatever the hell it is. Like, at the end of the day, it's like we already know this man ain't gonna be back here, and this is what we are accustomed to, like someone that just doesn't manage the game properly overall. So I'm never surprised when I see these blunders happen during the game. It's like he's not even thinking about these situations, which is weird because he doesn't do anything. So he doesn't call plays, whatever. You should have all the time in the world on the sideline to conduct conversations with the rest of your staff, the quality control, analytics, whoever, so that when you are in these situations, you know exactly what to do. And that's just not going to happen with Ron. And I'm content with that at this point, because I know this is the last hurrah. If he wants to call it his last lap, cool.
But I mean, for me, I didn't really have an issue with that. I mean, now I would have had an issue if we would have had all our timeouts and he didn't go for the 2-point. But I thought they screwed themselves out of going for the 2-point once you burned that timeout, as AJ mentioned, and then you burned another one after that. So you only had 1 timeout left. But if you had 3 timeouts left, you go for the 2, you don't get it. Seattle's going to be in running mode, so you could possibly stop them on 3 downs and get the ball back with good amount of time. But once you burned that timeout, it was almost kind of a moot point. I mean, sure, you win if Seattle doesn't go down and kick the field goal, but your defense wasn't really stopping them all day. I mean, Geno Smith was driving on you all day. He had a career high. I think it was a career high passing yards he had today against us.
Yeah, it was the career high.
Which is insane.
High? Oh, my
yes.
Lord.
I mean, what do we say to Ashley?
I don't know. That's crazy.
Get right. Washington is the get right team.
And we said that pregame show, last week on Thursday. But yeah, again, I mean, the defense showed that they weren't going to probably stop him. You shouldn't have had any confidence in stopping him. So, I mean, regardless, I mean, again, burning the timeout, I thought was more egregious than, not going for the 2-point, because I thought burning that timeout.
I need to know what Ron says post game about that timeout part.
Yeah, because that hurt. I mean, that was it. I said that's going to, come back to burn him in a sense, because now, like I said, if you wanted to go for 2, you could, you have the flexibility of saying, all right, if we're down 1, well, we don't get the 2, we're down 1, we can get 3 stops, because we got 3 timeouts. But if you don't have any timeouts, then, it's nothing you can really do.
I don't. So, like, I know it's going to sound weird about what I'm saying. I don't have like a big issue with him deciding not to go for it. My main thing wasn't even the timeouts. It was actually the fact that there was a lot of time left on the clock. Like, I would more so get it if there was 30 seconds, maybe 20 seconds left on the clock, and you're talking about having an opportunity to win it right then and there. More importantly, if it's less than 10 seconds on the clock, because there is no time for somebody to go down, and it's similar to that's more similar to the Philly one than it is anything else, right? So I don't have a huge problem with it being them kicking the field goal and playing their chances. But then that's when I mentioned the coaching, because the timeouts are important, right? You're talking about not being ready after incomplete pass. And then the second one that they call soon after, I don't even, that's the one I want to know why he called. Like, I don't know what that one was about. No, I don't know what either one of them was about. Honestly, it was inexcusable. But then you talk about what happened on defense, and that's kind of where the bigger conversation is. And I think that's kind of where you look at several ways where this defense let Washington down throughout the day. I think the biggest thing, so there's a couple things to look at it, mind you. Washington also early on, they held Seattle to what, 9 points in the first half or 12 points in the first half. So like, even with all that being said, they did a good job of keeping Washington in it when, again, you're talking about a team who had, I think, 9 points as well in the first half, right? One big play on offense. At one point, they were averaging like 4.9 yards a play. The Commanders were, even with the 50-yarder, a 50-yard score. So like, the defense did a good job up until they didn't. And I think what ultimately ended up hurting them, Geno got locked in, but also you're talking about a team who missed several tackles throughout the day. Like even with the big run play, that was a pass play. The check down to I forgot the running back's name, but the one who scored the 64-yarder. You're talking about a person Walker, who like Percy Butler has several times. Like he does this throughout a game every single week. It seems like he misses tackles in open field.
But Maul, you watch tape, bro. That is exactly what Percy Butler did in college as well.
But that's fine. I'm not even worried about. I'm just saying, like, it's not. It wasn't just Percy on the day. It was literally the defense having issues with missed tackles. But I'm saying that Percy's missed tackle led to a 60-something yard touchdown, and that's where I'm getting at. It was a collective effort of people not being where they need to be, but also just having struggles against their matchups. Percy missed tackles. We talked about Ben for a good portion throughout the day, right? He was having some issues in coverage. I remember seeing a tweet from somebody. I don't remember who it was at this point. There's like every time the pass is targeted at Ben, he gets nervous because every single play looks like a holding or some form of defensive pass interference. And to that point, it's like I get it, and I think the refs kind of understand it too. Like they have their scouting reports before games. They know what type of cornerback Ben is. So maybe they do understand that he's just an aggressive corner. So they're not going to call every single one on Ben. But this was one of those games where it ends up costing them. A fourth down play where, mind you, on third down, on third down, Jack called a well-timed blitz from the secondary. And Percy Butler actually makes the play on third down at the line of scrimmage where they're trying to sneak the tight end to the flats. He runs with him cross the formation, makes an excellent play in the backfield. You're talking about a 4th and 5, and now you get a stop on 4th and 5, but then it's a penalty, and then there's 2 more penalties after that leads to a touchdown. Like it was just a undisciplined defense for some reason after what was an impressive start in the first quarter and some change. I don't know, man. I understand people are frustrated at Jack, and there's no reason to shift blame, right? But you're talking about a team who gave up nearly, I think, 500 yards on the day. That's rough, bro. And I think a lot of that had to do with personal mistakes.
Well, I mean, I haven't had a chance to look at the stats, but did we have any sacks today? Because we didn't have any last week.
Let's see. They had one sack, and it went for 0 yards.
Jonathan Allen.
Yeah. Okay, so I must have missed that part.
Yeah, he had a little sack.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious with the defense they're not playing the best guys or whatever who they think can get the job done. I mean, you're just giving up a big amount of yardage. Like maybe today you didn't give up like explosive plays per se, but the 2 that you can kind of pinpoint that you did give up led to a touchdown, the Kenneth Walker pass for 60-some yards, and the DK Metcalf catch to put them in field goal range to end the game. Like you can't give up explosive plays. I mean, he came out adjusted second half, but it was very predictable. It was like anytime they got in third down, you knew he was blitzing, which is like, hey, man, switch it up or bluff it sometimes. But that's just who Jack Del Rio is, and that's just how it's going to be the rest of the way out. Everyone's going to get right against his team. Geno Smith had his career day as far as passing yards. And we'll see if the dude that lives with his parents in New Jersey, what he does next week with the New York Giants at quarterback.
Who, DeVito?
Yeah.
Parents? Oh
Yeah, he
man.
lived with his folks in Jersey, but they said like 10 miles from the stadium. So I guess he in good shape, bro, as a pro.
Hey.
All right. So offensively, let's circle back to the day. I mean, obviously we know what Jack and them did, right? I think even like matter of fact, before we even get back to the offense, I've never seen a officiating crew like so what's the word? Incompetent for their decision to eject Emanuel Forbes for that hit. Like they know, like there's without a shadow of a doubt, I know for a fact, and everybody that's listening live, watching live, y'all know for a fact, you have never seen a hit like that with the intention of the hit of Emanuel Forbes, like get ejected for something like that. He was making a football play. He was not worried about the person on the other side. He wasn't worried about the receiver, like intentionally trying to take his head off. He's acting as if the ball is about to get completed, and he just makes a play to try to dislodge the football, and boom, he hits his helmet. I mean, it's clearly a foul. Like I wouldn't disagree with the foul call, but damn, like at what point what are we doing ejecting Emanuel, bro? Like he cannot, whether it's for his play or whether it's officiating, he cannot catch a break this year, bro.
I think he actually
for my man.
I think he actually caught a break today, because the way people are going after Ben St. Juice, they would have done it to Emanuel Forbes, because he was lined up on Metcalf to begin the couple defensive series that they had. So it's unfortunate. I don't really know how they want guys to play football. It's almost becoming two-hand touch, because I mean, at some point, if guys are touted for their speed and their physicality and all these different things, and they make a football play and they unintentionally make contact with someone, that shouldn't be ruled as something egregious to throw someone out the game. Like we got to bring some context into it. Like he didn't throw himself at him to injure him. This player ain't get knocked out for the game. They weren't concussed, anything. Like the penalty was perfect. That's cool. But for New York to call in and say ejection is insane. Like
that's another thing that you point. Like New York called this in. Like that's even crazier. And you got Blandino on the Fox broadcast acknowledging publicly, fighting back against the decision to get Emanuel Forbes like ejected. Like that is incredible that New York called this in and said that he had to go.
But see, and my issue is the Denver game. Kareem Jackson, his hit was way more malicious and dirty than what Forbes did. I mean, granted, I was watching the game on my phone, but I looked at him like, okay, I mean, yeah, I can see the helmet getting a 15-yard penalty, but an ejection for that, it was nothing malicious in the intent on what Forbes was doing. Yeah, give him the 15-yard penalty, that's it. But again, we've seen dirtier plays that didn't get any kind of ejection. I mean, throughout you probably see a dirtier play every week that doesn't result in ejection. So that was just insane to me, man.
Yeah, man, you're not wrong, bro. At all. I would love to see, if they're doing a pool report on this, I would love to see what the refs have to say about the decision to eject that man this week. All right, so did our overall takeaways, and went in on the defense a bit. Sam Howell was the topic for everything that wasn't related to actually winning or losing the football game. It was really about Sam. This was a game where heading into it, there was a lot of conversation about consistency, right? And rightfully so, the conversation with consistency stems on the fact that you've seen you've seen a team from weeks 1 through 7 have been being consistently inconsistent on both sides of the football, from your quarterback, from your offensive coordinator, from your offensive line. And now you see those two games back to back with the Eagles, and then obviously the Patriots, where you're talking about solid performances from Sam, but you're still waiting to see. For some people, you're still waiting to see like how the rest of this season goes, and in the level and the variety in which Howell plays, from whether it's a good performance to a great performance to mediocre, whatever caliber of performances he plays in. And again, Seattle, he finishes the day with 29 completions, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 turnover. And it's another solid day. You saw moments where he was able to make some plays with his legs. Again, when I mentioned Brian Robinson really being the offense for for all up until the third quarter or late third quarter, those are the biggest plays. But that's partly from Howell escaping the pocket and buying time with his legs and finding somebody. There was also some instances where he's escaping the pocket, finding Logan Thomas for some plays, Curtis Samuel as well. And ultimately late, you see the drive that leads to a game time touchdown. The composure, the pass to De'Ami Brown was over 2 defenders. Shout out to the offensive line who gave him time, but also De'Ami Brown for finishing the play. But to make that pass where he did, and say, F it, we about to make this happen, like that's as perfect as a ball that you can really have to De'Ami Brown in that situation, over those 2 defenders. And you're talking about people who tried to deflect the pass and break it up. So really good placement for Sam. I think what Seattle did, when I briefly touched on this earlier, in terms of like the stalling from the offense, they did a really good job sitting on the short routes. And then pressure starting to get home as well. And it made like offense and life for the offense chaotic. But overall, like, again, with this battle on this side of the ball, I think Howell held his own. And in a critical environment or a hostile environment such as Seattle's, I don't have too many negatives to take away from this performance. And I think a lot of the positives were just as encouraging. Now, most of the positives for me really just came on that last drive. Like I said, the composure. But at the same time, like, this side of the ball did a really good job of answering when their backs were against the wall in a hostile environment. They did it several times throughout the day. What do y'all think about Sam?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, like I said, I've been waiting for Sam to kind of put together these games. I mean, the last 2 games, I thought Sam was really good. This game, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a real test. They're going against a pretty damn good defense in Seattle, hostile environment, as you've been mentioning. And he just goes up there again. I mean, Brian Robinson was the offense for the most part of the day, but Sam never looked really flustered throughout the day. I mean, I thought he made good throws throughout the day, even though we weren't scoring early on. We only had 9 points first half for the most part. But again, Sam can move the ball. Sam doesn't get rattled. That's the one thing I do love about Sam. He does not get rattled. And like, the ball placement on some of his throws is just crazy. Like that pass to Antonio Gibson with the pressure in his face. I thought that was going to be intercepted. I was like, oh man, he got hit. He's probably going to throw an interception. And it's a perfect dime to let Antonio Gibson run right to the end zone. I mean, Gibson was wide open as hell, but still, he's staring down pressure to make that throw. And those are the type of things we've been kind of seeing for Sam. Those are the type of flash plays that he's been making. But now he's making these plays consistently, and he's showing you he can do this. I don't know what Sam's ceiling is. I'm not going to place a ceiling on Sam. Originally I've been kind of thinking maybe he can be in that 12 to 16 range. But again, I don't want to put a ceiling on Sam yet. Like, I don't know what he can be, but I do think he's giving you enough, or at least the next regime that comes in here, enough to say, hey, this guy's on a rookie contract. We can work with this guy for another year or 2, and we can give him that chance. Like, he can be, anybody can look at Sam and see the tools and say, hey, we can work with this guy. I think no one is going to come in off the break from what they're seeing these last few games, at least. Or actually, if you just bottle up his season in a sense, I don't think anyone's going to come in and say, we don't want that. We want something else. I mean, granted, there could be a situation where someone comes in and they still want their guy. But I think at the least, Sam's going to make that shit hard on somebody. Like, he's going to make the decision really hard because he's looking like he has something in this league. Like I said, now the only question is, how high is his ceiling? We don't know that yet. I mean, that's fine. We don't need to know that yet. But what Sam is doing, he's putting a lot of good on tape. Sam is helping himself a lot. And week in and week out, he's giving you a chance to win games. Now, I do think, our ceiling as a team is limited just because of what we have here regime-wise. Like this regime, I think we're capped out. I think this is like what you're going to get with these guys. You're going to get 7 to 8 wins in a season, which is why I'm okay with the losing right now. Right now, it's all about Sam and his development. Because if Sam does show you enough that you can go in the next season with him, especially if you bottom out or, finish 6-11 like a Ron Rivera season or something. Now, instead of talking about a quarterback to draft next year, you're talking about adding pieces around Sam, like some high talent pieces around Sam. And that's encouraging to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should also open up the floor to some of the people within the chat if they want to come on to talk about Sam Howell a little bit. But I mean, I think today you've seen him keep his eyes downfield, looking to try to make a play. That's why you were able to get those major plays from Brian Robertson within the passing game. If he doesn't keep his eyes downfield, that's traditionally a sack, or incomplete pass overall, whatever the case is. But keeping his eyes downfield allow him to showcase some of his playmaking ability to get Brian Robinson that ball. And one ended up being a touchdown. Another one ended up being a big gainer for maybe 40 some yards, if I'm not mistaken. The pass to Antonio Gibson, I didn't know if it got tipped or what. Just from watching on TV, I couldn't really tell. I think it was a great play design and him being able to follow through on that pass, getting the ball to Gibson. I mean, it's
pretty about the corner route for the touchdown. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, the corner route to Gibson for the touchdown.
Yep.
I still think that overall, Seattle came into this with a perfect game plan. Their plan was to try to jam the wide receivers and keep them within the short game only. Like they played the short game perfectly. That's exactly what they did. They have another corner on the other side, aside from Weatherspoon and Woolen, who's 6'4", got length and speed. He definitely did a great job of holding Jahad Dotson in check and even playing Terry McLaurin very well on certain downs. It's still go ahead.
I was just going to add something because I saw when somebody did their 1 sentence takeaway, and this was something that really stood out to me. After he said what he said, he's like, "Damn, no receivers got off," type shit for Washington, right? I don't remember the exact tweet, but I'm looking at the numbers now, right? De'Ami Brown went 2 for 41, Terry McLaurin 4 for 33, and then you had Byron Pringle 1 for 7, Curtis Samuel 2 for 6. Jamison and Jahan both have 0 catches, 0 yards. Essentially, this was a day where the running backs took over and your tight ends took over.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's one thing that I did like with Eric Bieniemy, how he maybe some of the plays didn't result to positive yards as you wanted it to, but what it did do was make the Seattle defense, it made them commit to understanding that even in these personnel looks, these guys could possibly be going out for a pass or a screen. So you seen like a rollout tight end screen to John Bates. It didn't succeed as far as what you would want yardage wise, but you've seen how involved that Logan Thomas and John Bates were early in the game plan to kind of force Seattle to understand in these personnel groupings that these guys may not stay in within blocking. They might actually go out for a pass. And I felt like he connected with some of those calls later on in the game. But yes, the wide receivers got shut down. I mean, Curtis Samuel, he was questionable coming into the game. I don't really know how healthy he is or not, but having Jahan Dotson on the outside against these type of corners that like to press and be up in your face, it kind of shows his weakness. I've always thought that Jahan Dotson is better suited to be in the slot than on the outside. Today kind of helps with that thought process. He had no catches at all.
I think the slot is a part where you gotta get off the press in the slot too. I think the main thing, I don't disagree. Like I always thought that press was his issue coming out of college, but I more so think like for offenses, First off, if you can't get off the line in the NFL personally at all, you can't even play. Like coaches say that all the time. But I think for a person like Jahan, like he needs like those stacked alignments or those motion routes that allows him to have those free releases, especially against a team like Seattle.
Yeah. So I mean, I think overall to just cap the conversation on Sam Howell, I think it was still an up and down day. We also can't forget about that fumble. It's like, bruh, at some point, man, you got to stop trying to play hero ball and just get down. Like, it is what it is. You just got to get down. Yeah, I mean, I just think that the offense, like you stated, Mual, earlier, the offense is pretty stagnant for most of the day outside of those two passing plays to B-Rob, and then we get that touchdown at the end from Dami Brown. They really didn't get to do much. The numbers might show differently. If we think that Sam Howell played great, then we got to think that Geno Smith played great as well, because they pretty much had the same damn numbers.
I mean, for sure, but Geno ain't Sam Howell. Geno is like 11 years into his career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even focusing on that.
He can have a good game.
I'm not focusing on that point, but he still went for his career day. That's all I'm saying is, like, either way, both of the offenses didn't look like complete offenses overall. They had ups and downs throughout the game.
Yeah.
That's essentially what I'm getting to.
I 100% agree.
And real quick, I just want to say, because the chat is kind of talking my language right now with the draft prospects. I see Jay Tyler mentioned Harrison and Brock Bowers. Love those two, but do not forget about my man Keon Coleman for Florida State. That's another weapon to keep your eye on. That boy is bad.
Can make them one-handed catches, bro.
Hey, he can do more than that.
Hey man, I'm here for the Brock Bowers talk, bro, and a receiver too. But I don't want to get people too upset. I saw some people in the top about they want to win. They ain't worried about the draft talk right now.
But what do people want to win? Like what are you
trying to win? 8 games. They want to win 8 games and be temporarily happy on Sundays.
They just want to have a prolonged season. I guess they want bragging rights or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like that's what I'm confused about. Like, what are you trying to win here? Like, if you want to just be able to brag to, fans in your family that might be of the Giants, the Cowboys, the Eagles, okay. But overall for this team, the best draft position is what's going to help them the most, especially if we think that they're going to hire a competent GM in here. You want to get the best, the best slot that you can within this draft overall.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I think Jay Tyler is hilarious because, like, I don't think he's wrong at all. You have Ron, you ain't gonna win that many games. Like,
we capped out.
I saw somebody tweet. Damn, I lost it. Somebody said if they lose next week or they have one more loss this season, it's like the 20th straight season or something where they don't have 11 wins on a year. So I mean, look, they right on track for what they used to doing.
I'm with Jay Tyler. Hey, look, I'm with Jay Tyler on the Thanksgiving game. Hey, give me that Thanksgiving win. I don't care about no other game this year, but I want that Thanksgiving win against Dallas bad. And that could be Sam Howell's real marquee game right there, too.
Hey, but look,
you're gonna be real sad eating that Thanksgiving meal.
Oh, hey, so listen on. So now that we got people, we got some people in the chat. AJ, I just realized this. First and foremost, again, if you're just checking in or if you haven't done so yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube side. We definitely appreciate that. Audio side, ratings, review, we definitely appreciate that as well. You can call in. The link is in the description. At this point, we probably got like 1 or 2 calls if you want to call in, but that's about it. But for those in the chat now, we are bringing back the jersey giveaway for the Thanksgiving game against Dallas. Sam Howell jersey giveaway. We're going to set the parameters the week of for that game, but we're gonna have a jersey giveaway. We're bringing that back. We're gonna give people another shot to get this one. It's gonna be fun setting the numbers, man. Because honestly, Dre, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm in this space where it's like the way that the house performing, I'm getting a little bit more confident that we're gonna get this. We're gonna give a jersey to somebody. Like I'm getting pretty confident we're gonna give a jersey.
AJ don't want to hear that. AJ don't want to hear that.
I don't feel that confident. I think maybe we might give away a Jeremiah Trotter jersey.
Hey, bro.
Yeah,
we gonna give a jersey away, bro. But no, man, it is interesting, and I think for the day that Howell had collectively, who's next? The Giants. Okay, so the Giants is gonna be interesting because they are a pressure and scheme type of defense where like theirs is unique to the other teams that we've played over the last couple weeks, right? So it will be interesting to see how they handle this the second time around, Bieniemy and Sam. I'm in the offensive line. But like if you can stack another game, which the Giants is a legitimate test defensively, for Sam Howell and the offensive line of Bieniemy, if you can stack another good game, bouncing back from the one that you had on the road against New York, and really like do some damage to this defense, the Giants defense this upcoming week. I will be completely encouraged by like the trajectory of Sam. Again, I've said, and people who know this, like people in the chat, even Jay Tyler said I was nitpicking. I didn't understand what that meant. Like I was just calling what we see. Like
folks just sensitive, bro. They on their Ralph Dre, I know you know who this is. They on their Ralph Transvan.
I'm a laugh because it sounded funny, but I don't know what that means.
Well, look, let's first off, we got to tell Magic to shut up. I started the Sam Howell train because Magic starts every quarterback train. Like, it doesn't matter who's the quarterback for the Commanders. Magic is going to tweet and prop them up. So, no, you're 0 for like 30. Well, you're bound to be right once.
First of all, I don't know if we should give Magic any credit if he's over here vouching for Ron to come back. What's up, bro?
Yeah, he wants Ron. The only person in America that wants Ron Rivera to come back here.
Hey, but where was I headed? Oh, like just kind of how things are going. Like the Giants game is going to be another test for this offense, for the important components of this offense. And then after that is who? Let me double check.
It's the jersey giveaway game, Cowboys.
Oh, it is Dallas next. Okay, cool. Oh, perfect. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be a really good next set of games, man. For this offense and for Howell in particular. But I think if this consistency, think about it like this too. And I guess I'll ask AJ as well. Like I'm not trying to. You can have your opinion, right? But you're talking about a quarterback. Matter of fact, let me go to the numbers so I can give the number. Hold on, let me go to his game logs. With today against the Patriots, he's had the Seahawks, excuse me. He's had 4 300-yard games on the season. And I think 3 of those 300-yard games were on the road, if I'm not mistaken. No, they're not. 2 of them were. It's kind of split actually, but 4 300-yard games on the season. And this one being in another hostile environment. I think some of the stuff that we're seeing from this young guy, we don't have to spark a whole nother conversation. This is my opinion. I honestly think that like this isn't like you don't see these type of performances from quarterbacks in Washington, like especially at this age, like especially with this level of inexperience. So I think that's kind of the unique situation that while we're being overly critical from a standpoint of trying to figure out like if this guy is like future material franchise, like we can see 10 plus years in this guy. Even in this moment, we acknowledged it when Stacey came on. Like some of the moments that he has are like that's some top tier shit that he's doing on the field. And I think because we're rightfully so looking for if this guy is it or if he has question marks, I don't think you can ignore some of the big moments that he's had or overlook them. I wouldn't say ignore, like just overlook them. Like that's kind of hard to do from a guy like this. Like winning is going to come if you get the circumstances situated around him. When I'm talking about like talent, I'm talking about even a defense and a competent coach. But some of the stuff that he's doing is like respect. Like I like this.
And to add on to that, Mual, a lot of quarterbacks, and this is the thing that's kind of the turning point for me with Sam, and I'm starting to come around on him. It's a lot easier for someone in Sam's position to go out there and throw up on themselves routinely than to go out there and kind of put up the moments that he's having routinely now. And that's why I said I wanted to see the consistency, because we've seen quarterbacks make great plays. We've seen quarterbacks have great games, but can you do it consistently? Like, that's the thing. And, that's why I'm skeptical, and I didn't want to just jump on the bandwagon just yet, because we've been watching bad quarterback play for years. I mean, years, you know what I'm saying? So we've seen it. So 1 or 2 good games isn't going to really impress me at this point in my fandom. But when you start to put those moments together for more than just 1 to 2 games, and you're putting it together for a course of the season, that's when you start to say, okay, maybe we have something here. And that's why I said it's not unreasonable for me to want to see a full season of Sam, to make a full, before I rush to judgment on Sam. And that goes either way, whether I was going to say Sam is not it or whether I was going to say Sam is it. But right now, I'm definitely leaning towards Sam is it. I mean, because the man, he's putting together some performances that we just haven't seen here, at least since Kirk Cousins has been here for the most part. And I still wasn't the biggest Kirk Cousins fan. But Sam is at least putting himself in that conversation to say, yeah, you may have something with the guy.
Yeah, man. I'm interested in, like I said all season, I'm interested in seeing where this thing goes. So far, he's kept my attention 11 games into the season, and I'm here for the last 6. My math right? Yeah, last 6. So we're gonna see how that goes. Okay. I think we did good, man. I appreciate everybody who's been in the chat and the newcomers. Well, not newcomers, newcomers to today. Kenny, Jordan, appreciate y'all checking in as well. Obviously, Kenny, I know you've been around, but yeah. Hawk, I see you. Ron does have 1 more year left in his contract, but guess what's gonna happen when that new GM come in? Snip, 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 snip. You up out of here.
So Mual, no one wanted to come up and talk about their franchise quarterback?
I guess not. I guess not. Hey, look, that's dangerous, man. Look, Jordan, I appreciate your confidence, and I'm not sitting here telling people do your thing, bro. If you think he it, like that's your opinion.
Right.
But patience is important, man. Like 3 games can make you jump the gun. Like even what Dre said today, that was a new level of belief in Sam, even with like how Dre has been throughout this entire season, like even what he said today, like that's a new level of faith in Sam in a good way. So gotta be careful, because you don't know what's going to happen with 6 games left. Like it can be completely different from this 3 game stretch.
Gotta run that thing back against New York next week too.
All I'm saying is,
would we consider that his biggest struggle game? Like opponent was?
Well, between that and the Bills game,
Buffalo.
Probably the Bills. Yeah, 4 interceptions in that game. Yeah, that had to be the one. But and like you said, Maul, it's fine for those of you who felt like he's been that guy since day one. I'm sure you probably felt that way about a lot of other quarterbacks here as well. You know what I'm saying? So, but hey, I wanted to see it over the course of time, and he's making a believer of me, and he's not doing anything to change, that. So I'll take it.
I got time. I don't care. I got time, bro. You ain't gonna see nothing until probably like the last 2-3 weeks of the season, like having a final opinion on that man.
What's interesting about Sam Howell is just like the way the conversations are happening around him as far as social media wise. Like even today, I'm chilling watching the game. I see CJ Stroud do something. I talk about CJ Stroud. Motherfuckers want to hit me up, talk about Sam Howell in my comments. Like it's like, bruh, I can't look at somebody else like I don't hate the kid. I don't hate him at all. If I don't know if maybe y'all remember last year I said that they should start Sam Howell over Taylor Heineke when Carson Wentz got hurt after the Bears game. Like I was saying that they should move forward with him and let him show what he can bring to the table, because you already know what you're gonna do with Taylor Heineke at the end of the year, which is move on. Like I don't hate the kid. I just won't be on here anytime soon saying franchise quarterback. I'm gonna sit out on that conversation until we see everything get done overall. Who they hire at GM, that will tell you everything you need to know if they're going to proceed with this or not. But I think if you're a Washington fan, you shouldn't be looking forward to wins or whatever. Just see how the offense clicks and Sam Howell's a major character within that movie of how this offense moves going forward, alongside Eric Bieniemy as his co-star.
There it is, man. Kenny, I'm sure it'll be a sold out crowd next Sunday. No, I lied. I don't know. Giants fan may have checked out just as much as Skins fans. So I actually don't know, Kenny.
I think Dayball gets fired, bro.
Man, that's so sad, bro. Like
history
me, because I'm a fan of
Giants.
Dayball. Not about I don't care about the Giants, but like, yeah, I love Dayball, bro.
The history of the Giants and their coaches stuff is like lately they've been firing their coaches after the second year. Like it's not looking pretty at all.
Like, you think he don't make it to the end of the season?
I think he makes it at the end of the season, but I don't think he makes it as a third year head coach for the New York Giants.
I can't see them fired. I mean, I don't think it'll be smart to fire him because they pretty much saddled him with Daniel Jones when he got there. Like, I mean, he was forced to kind of play Daniel Jones. Then they gave him the contract. He hasn't really come in and had his own guy. And I think from watching the Giants games, especially with Daniel Jones was starting, Dayball didn't look like the biggest Daniel Jones fan to me. I mean, I could be wrong or reading into it wrong. But I feel like, he was kind of handicapped with Daniel Jones.
So Dre, wouldn't that play right into the aspect of this is the ownership's decision, their call, and if that ain't his guy and that's who they allocated their money to, why would they let him go draft his guy to prove the ownership wrong?
What, did he draft his own guy?
No, but right now, what the Giants are like, they probably gonna have the number 1 and number 3 pick if the draft were to start today. I can't remember.
I would let him. Yeah, they should. I think they should let him draft his own guy, man. Because again, that's for Daniel Jones's ownership or GM's front office mistake. That's not on Dayball. Daniel Jones preceded Dayball, so you know what I'm saying. He had to come in and try to make it work with Daniel Jones. And I guess again, I could be wrong, but I don't think he was the biggest Daniel Jones fan. I just think that that's what they had, and he had to work with it.
I'm with you, Jerry. Get that man a chance to get a quarterback. Like, to hell with a Daniel Jones. And the way they losing right now, bro. You talking about a team that's gonna have a top 5 pick. They're gonna have a pick of the litter, bro. If they play their cards right. So
they might get Caleb Williams, man. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Look, I'm done with the DC hometown people. Like, I know we ain't really think about quarterback nowadays with especially this fan base, but just DC related conversations. I'm cool with that. Like, it's too much pressure for these hometown kids, bro. Like, let them have their fun somewhere else.
That's true. I'm with you.
All right, let's go and get up out of here. We will be back Tuesday, 7 p.m. sharp. Maybe try and get a guest on just like we had this week or last week with Grant Paulson, but we'll figure these things out as they come along. For everybody in the chat, everybody.
Let's get the 2 biggest Sam Howell haters, supposedly me and Linnell. I'm getting while we doing the show, I'm getting tagged like, oh, will this shut up Linnell and who else? It was somebody else, and then the person wrote and my Twitter name. I'm like,
hey man,
bro,
AJ making a name for herself. When the stream started, bro, I was in who was it? My man DJ. DJ was on your ass before this show even started today,
you
bro.
Said who?
DJ. Yeah,
they was in the chat.
Yeah. They had names for you. They was calling you names.
Hey man, AJ Button, bro. That's his name. DJ been calling that for like 2-3 weeks now.
Hey, that's what's up.
AJ Button.
AJ Bayless.
I ain't even gotta say nothing because I damn sure ain't say nothing. So
yeah. Hey man,
y'all just tune in to Trap or Dive. Y'all follow the show. Like, we just gonna give our personal takes. Can y'all imagine how boring the show would be if we all just agreed on the same thing? That's the beauty of sports.
What's funny? We started like that too. That's the funny thing. Yeah. We used to be agreeing on everything. I said, bro, this must be because this must be because the season ain't started yet or something, and then everything changed.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of sports. We all gonna see things a different way. Like, I could understand if you've been in shambles as far as finding a quarterback, you feel like this could possibly be the one. But I mean, I also think that it's unfair to say this is the best quarterback we've seen in the last 10 years in a Washington jersey, when if we're going based off statistics, Kirk Cousins put up great numbers too and a lot of people didn't want to renew his contract to keep him here. So I don't know. That's just the interesting part of this quarterback conversation. But keep letting it play out. You got what, 6 more games left?
Yeah, 6 more games left.
Yeah, man. I just hope they continue to lose every single one, which ain't gonna be hard. And
they're gonna beat the Giants. They ain't gonna lose to the Giants.
Man, and we can focus on who their GM is going to be and head coach, and start talking about some of these draft prospects, because there's a lot of talented kids that will be available in this draft on the offense and defensive side of the ball. As we could see, this team needs a lot of damn help.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. All right, so let's go ahead and shoot for Linnell then. Let's see if we can get the perceived Sam Howell hater brigade on the same podcast together. so let's go wrap it up.
Let's go to
again.
Sam Howell court.
Hey, Sam Howell court, no bullshit, man.
Let's get our podcast shut down, dog.
Nah, man. They ain't gonna do that to Trapper Down, man. We indestructible over here, man.
They gonna report our motherfucking shit.
Hey, bro. But that's gonna wrap it up for the game, man. Appreciate everybody who in here. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you haven't done so. We back on Tuesday, man. Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace.